You ever have one of those days where the universe decides to test just how invisible you can make yourself, not in a cool spy movie way, but in that gut punch, hold your breath kind of real life? Picture this. I'm Emily Carter, the quiet girl from a dusty nowhere town in Oklahoma, sitting in the dim glow of a VA clinic in Fayetteville, my right arm slung up like a bad joke, tape wrapped tight around my busted collarbone, and a couple cracked ribs that feel like they're whispering threats every time I shift. It's been 3 hours of fluorescent hum and the shuffle of vets worse off than me. But I don't fidget, don't sigh hell. I barely blink, because that's what I do. I vanish into the wallpaper. Always have. Ever since Dad's whiskey-fueled rages taught me that silence was the only shield worth a damn. And yeah, the fall that landed me here? 2 weeks back, during what the paperwork calls a standard rope descent at Camp Lejeune. But truth is, that line gave way 30 feet up because I was hauling gear no one's supposed to know about. Black market surveillance tech tucked in my pack for a ghost op that's got more layers of need to know than an onion in hell. Growing up, I was the fourth wheel in a family of gearheads, 3 brothers roaring through life like they owned the highway, drag racing trucks, and picking fights at the county fair, while I huddled in the corner with dog-eared paperbacks about far-off adventures, dreaming of being the hero who didn't need the spotlight to save the day. Folks back home figured I'd end up a librarian or maybe a vet tech, something soft-spoken and safe. But nope, I signed up for the Army straight out of high school, not to prove a point to them, but to that nagging voice in my head saying, "Emily, you're tougher than this, girl. You just gotta earn it." Basic at Fort Benning was a blur of mud and screams, drill sergeants peeling us down to raw nerves, kids around me cracking like cheap glass under the weight. But me? I swallowed it all, ran the miles, hauled the packs, kept my mouth shut, earned a spot in the 10th Mountain Division, logistics on paper, making sure ammo and MREs hit the right foxhole at the right hour. My CO, this grizzled sergeant named Ruiz, he'd slap my back after a flawless inventory run and mutter, "Carter, you're a damn ghost. Problems show up. You fix them before they even whisper." But ghosts don't get promotions easy, and they sure as hell don't complain when the real work starts bleeding into the shadows. See, about a year in, I got pulled aside not for glory, but because someone upstairs spotted how I could fade into a crowd, how my quiet let me listen without being heard. Next thing, I'm in a nondescript briefing room at Bragwait. No, let's call it Pendleton for the files, getting the pitch for this off-the-books intel gig, deep cover stuff where my supply runs double as eyes on domestic threats, mapping weak spots in ports and pipelines without a soul knowing I'm more than the girl with the clipboard. It's exhilarating at first, that rush of carrying secrets like live grenades, but lonely too, like you're always one wrong word from blowing your own cover. And then the drop happens, rope phrase on a test run for a harbor infill. I slam into shale and salt water below. Gear pouch rips open just enough to gouge my side with encrypted trackers that aren't in any manual. Blood in my mouth, stars exploding, but I wave off the squad. I'm good, Sarge, just a twist, even as the world tilts. Because admitting pain means admitting the lie, and that lie's the only thing keeping me in the game. Fast forward to the clinic, me perched on that paper-covered table, staring at scuffed linoleum like it holds the answers, when the door swings open and in walks this guy tall, built like he benches Humvees, navy blues under his civvies, badge saying Petty Officer Jake Harlan, corpsman with the Marines, on loan while he mends a busted knee from some sand-sucking deployment in the Gulf. He's got that easy grin, the kind that says he's seen worse than my poker face, and as he flips through my chart, his eyes narrow just a hair. "All right, Miss Carter, let's see what we've got here." Ribs like a busted xylophone, shoulders screaming for a reset. "But you're rating pain at a 2? Come on, I've patched up jarheads who whine over paper cuts." I shrug, or try to, wincing inside. "Just tinder, Doc. When can I clock back in?" He chuckles low, that rumble like distant thunder, and starts the exam, prodding gentle but firm, his fingers tracing scars on my palms that ain't from hauling crates. They're from nights practicing dead drops in abandoned warehouses, friction burns from lines no logistics clerk should know. Jake's no fool, 8 years in recon, pulling lead out of buddies under fire. He's got that sixth sense for bullshit, and midway through, he pauses, holds up my hand like it's evidence in a trial. "These calluses, not from spreadsheets, are they?" More like you've been flirting with carabiners and clove hitches in places that'd make a civvy puke. My heart stutters bam, like a suppressed round because that's the knot from my black bag training, the one they drilled into us for emergency exfils, and no way a supply jockey picks that up from YouTube. I freeze, mouth dry as boot leather, mind racing through denials, borrowed a book from a buddy. That's all, but he just tilts his head, eyes locking mine with this mix of curiosity and respect. Hey, easy, this room's Vegas, what happens here stays buried. But if you're dancing with shadows like I think, that gear you were packing, it might have nicked something deeper than bone. And there it is, the crack in my armor, because yeah, the trackers didn't just bruise, they've been zapping nerves, leaving my fingers numb like ghosts in gloves, dizzy spells hitting mid-brief that could get me, or worse, the team killed if I don't fess up. I bolt after, heart hammering. Dial my handler on the burner, Lieutenant Voss, this steel-nerved spook from Langley on loan, voice like gravel over the line. Carter, you breathe one word out of turn. We're ghosts, you hear? But Harlan? Yeah, his file's cleaner than a nun's top-shelf clearances, treated our kind before without a leak. Next morning, I'm in a SCAF bunker that smells like stale coffee and paranoia, Jake waiting with a tablet of redacted evals, and we dive in me spilling the real damage, how the fall twisted wires into my ribs, phantom pains that scream, abort mission, when I need to ghost through a crowd. He's all business, mapping nerve paths like a battlefield, but then it shifts, his voice dropping. Emily, can I call you that off the record? I've lugged this double life too, patching seals who vanish into the night, pretending my knee's the only thing busted. You carry it heavier, though, like it's woven into your bones from way back. And damn if that doesn't hit, me blinking back the sting, because he's right, it's not just the op, it's the kid who hid under beds from dad's storms, learning to be the one who endures, never the one who asks for help. Weeks blur into sessions, his hands steady on pressure points, coaxing blood flow back to dead zones. And somewhere between the ice packs and the intel dumps, the walls crumble, me murmuring about brothers who never saw me, him confessing how his old man's purple heart shadow pushed him to outrun his own limits, both of us laughing wry. Guess we're both allergic to normal, huh? That wry chuckle masking how it aches. This pull towards someone who gets the weight without you spelling it out. But ops don't pause for heartbeats. My next packet drops in bed in a sketchy freight hub up the eastern seaboard, eyes on a smuggling ring that's got brass sweating, and Jake's rotations ending, back to the waves, leaving me staring at ceiling tiles wondering if this sparks just another vulnerability to bury. That's when he corners me post-session, eyes fierce like he's charging a hill. Screw rotations, I'm putting in for lateral support. Your ghost dance needs a medic who knows the steps, not some desk jockey. I laugh sharp, disbelieving. Jake, that's career napalm. You tying your fate to my circus? But he's dead serious, mapping overlaps in our clearances, how his recon med skills plug holes in my cover that no planner'd spot. Then wham, the door hisses open, and there's Voss, flanked by a suit from the agency, and some admiral type with a stare that could melt steel, all crammed in this sweatbox conference pod like it's Judgment Day. My gut twists, busted, done, shipped to some paper-pushing purgatory for letting feelings fuzz the lines, but Voss leans in, voice a whip crack calm. Carter, Harlan, we've been watching since clinic day one, not to snag you, but to see if this anomaly holds water. The Admiral chimes, gravelly as Jake's laugh. Kid, your metrics? Through the roof, reaction times up 15%, error rates flatlined, and Harlan here's got his team's sim scores spiking like they mainlined caffeine. Turns out, that fraternization flag? It's rewriting the playbook on burnout in the shadows. The suit calls himself Ellis, no last name. All Washington polish slides charts our way. We've got a pilot brewing, pairing embeds like you with specialists like him test how trust amps the game without cracking the vault. You in? Or we chalk it up to a fluke and ship you solo. We stare, me gripping the table edge till knuckles whiten, Jake's knee bouncing under like he's itching for the breach, and in that electric hush, I see it flash. The hub op, us synced like a well-oiled rifle, me slipping manifest while he ghosts perimeters, his steady voice in my earpiece cutting through static. Flank clear. You've got the window. Make it sing. Cut to the takedown, shadows peeling back on a dock at midnight. Crates cracking open to spill ghosts of their own. Me whispering chords as Jake's team rolls in silent. The ringleader, this smug cartel fixer with a scar like a lightning bolt snarling through cuffs. You think you're heroes? You're just puppets on strings. And Jake, cool as harbor fog, leaning close with that medic's grin. Nah, amigo, we're the strings. Boom, satisfaction hits like the first clean breath after a dive. The ops sealing tight, brass clapping backs in a debrief that feels almost normal. But here's the rub, the part that keeps me up some nights, staring at bulkheads on AC 130 humming east. We pulled it off. Yeah, metrics glowing like Christmas. But what if this model's a house of cards? What if the next op's the one where my blind spots him or his for me, and that trust turns traitor, costs a life, unravels the whole damn web? Voss swears the data says we're stronger fused, but deep down, I wonder is blending hearts and hazards genius, or just the slow poison we've been too stubborn to swallow alone? Hell, you tell me, drop a comment below. What's your take on mixing fire and fuel in the field? Ever chased a bond that could save you or sink you? Hit like if this hit home, share if you've got your own ghost story, and subscribe because next time, we're diving deeper into the shadows that shape us. What's your line in the sand?